Most of Edelman's 62 years in business, we really worked with only one side of the media companies, and that is the editors and the journalists. And our job was to kind of help them get what they need to tell the stories that they want to tell. We never really worked at length with the sales side of the publishing houses. And that began to change about 2 or 3 years ago when we saw that more and more we needed to use advertising to amplify the work that we are actually doing with editors. More importantly, what changed is we saw that the publishers were now open to a new form of advertising that really allowed us to take that which we have created and further distribute it in new ways and in new parts of the news feed that we weren't able to do before. So that has been accelerating over time, but that has created some disruptive opportunities and questions as the publishers try to figure out what is the right model to do that ethically in a way that works for themselves, works well for the brands, and also works well for consumers. We had some significant questions about how consumers perceive this new type of advertising and what are the conditions for success. So we had some ongoing discussions with our friends at the IAB who had some similar concerns, and we decided to get this project going together. What we've learned is, we learned a lot of things, but the key things that we learned are that to be successful in this new area, you need to be thinking hard about relevancy, you need to be thinking hard about authenticity and authority. And those are the three key themes that we learned from the study are the factors for success in what can make sponsored content work with consumers. We actually think that our clients benefit from participating in native advertising, specifically in feed, because it's a way to really do something in a very controlled fashion that's close to editorial, but provides a nice complement to the earned media work that we are working so hard to generate. So it's a way to really amplify positive owned and earned messages with more firepower than we would be able to do solely through earned media. So we're excited about the opportunities and what that means for our clients. We have a lot of questions still about how consumers perceive native advertising, but the studies seem to show that they are open to it, provided that we can get those three factors right. We can get the relevancy right, the authority, and the authenticity straight from the beginning. So that we see now that there's an opening, and we have data around that we didn't have before, and that's very encouraging. One of the ways this benefits consumers is that companies and brands have a lot of deep expertise about lots of different topics, and it's hard to get that expertise out on a consistent, controlled way. So we see this as being a way to really kind of provide the consumer with deeper information about topics that they want to know about from sources that have a lot of knowledge about those topics. Given the way that native advertising has become so prominent in recent years, what's going to be really important is that we have an ongoing discussion with consumers directly, that the publishers really let the consumers know why they're doing this, and to ask them questions about what's going to make it work. The research provides a guideline on how to do that, but it's going to be important for every publisher to have somebody who's in a role who is kind of facing the reader and able to explain to them why they're doing what they're doing, why it benefits them, and to channel that knowledge back to the advertisers based on what the consumers tell them. The most insightful part of the research for me was the fact that the brand reputation and the publisher reputation are intertwined. So there's a direct correlation between those two brands, and making that fit really work is important. So we saw that the reputation of the publisher can impact the reputation of the brand. The reputation of the brand can impact the reputation of the publisher in this new and emerging area. And that, for me, was a completely new thought that I didn't have prior to the research.